So I know I'm not this. I think of my body as an avatar, and my energy is in this avatar. And I've heard a lot of talk about dreams, but I've also heard when we go to sleep, we leave our body, and then when you wake up in the morning, you're born again into this body. So why do people have dreams if they leave their body when they're asleep? And how come I'm not having any dreams that I'm aware of my whole life? 50 years of no dreams
Well,
that I'm aware of.
We are not sure how long you've been telling that story, but that's part of it.
There you go.
So,
I have lots of daydreams, but not...
why would you want to be aware of your dreams?
I understand that they can give you insight to where you're vibrating at.
Yeah, but your day-to-day experience can give you that too. So why do you want to dream? Don't want to be left out, or
I want to fly when I'm sleeping.
for the fun?
For the fun.
For the fun. So go general about it. So give us more.
And the dream part is secondary to the idea that I actually leave this avatar when I'm sleeping or not using conscious thought.
Let us give you a clear picture of what we mean by all of that. So you make a decision to come into this body, but the larger part of you doesn't. There's a larger part of you remains non-physically focused. And a part of your consciousness comes into this physical body as that which you call your personality. But when you slumber, you withdraw that consciousness from this time-space reality. Now, to be really accurate, a part of that consciousness is still moving about in the cells of your body, but the cells of your body have their own non-physical inner beings, so to speak. And so there's a large part of the continuity between the non-physical and the physical that is taking place without you even having any conscious awareness of it. It's a wonderful thing that you don't have to set an alarm to make sure you're breathing every 2 or 3 minutes, or to make sure that your blood is continuing to pump through your body. In other words, there's a lot of consciousness going on that is taking care of you in a very wonderful way. As you are slumbering, because your attention is withdrawn from this time-space reality, we like to say that it reemerges into non-physical, not different than what you call the death experience. And of course, there is no death experience, but because you are an eternal being, but a withdrawal of that consciousness. So you literally, we're not kidding you, don the perspective of that non-physical energy. Now, many of you want to say, well, if I don the consciousness of my non-physical perspective, then do I, or can I, or why don't I hold that perspective when I come back into the physical, or when I wake up, when I regain my consciousness and I refocus? And we say, well, depending upon what your vibrational frequency is, you can maintain that continuity. But for most, when you awaken and refocus back into the physical translation of things, your vibrational frequency is usually lower and slower. It usually holds more resistance, which doesn't give you access to that quite the way you think you would like it. Now, this discussion brings us to a place that we've not been before. So let's just take a little bit of time here and flesh this out, because it's fun to come to a clear understanding of how the non-physical fits into the physical. So if when you slumber and therefore withdraw your consciousness from anything that is very active, the consciousness that is you reemerges into non-physical, or dons its full non-physical perspective, so to speak, and achieves that vibrational frequency, or is that vibrational frequency. So the only question that you want to ask yourself, if you're wanting to know what is really going on while you sleep, the question that is pertinent is, what's the difference in the vibrational frequencies between that and this, between my slumbering self and what I've been thinking and this non-physical energy? So it follows, doesn't it, that the happier you are in a consistent way in your physical body, that the higher your vibration. And as you put yourself into your bed in that higher frequency, then you will achieve that higher frequency. And so you'll be soaring with non-physical. Now stay with us for a minute, because we're leading you into a trap. That happens every time, no matter what. You could be the orneriest toad in the world. You could go to bed at night worrying about your children or worrying about something else. And in the moment that you withdraw your consciousness or fall asleep, your vibration raises and you join the vibrational frequency of who you really are. Every time. It's like the death experience. But it's not that likened to the withdrawing or the death experience that is really the subject that we are most interested in talking with you about here today. It's the what do you do as you're coming back in? And that coming back in, how much of this non-physical vibration, high vibration without resistance, how much of that rejoins me has to do with what you've been doing vibrationally while you've been in your wake state. In other words, the habits of thought that you've been practicing and the frequency that is you, it is a misunderstanding. Most people think that when they're dreaming that they've dreamed all night long, and what's actually taken place is they've had that non-physical experience that has concluded in a scenario or an experience that is downloaded in split seconds as you are coming back into consciousness. And so what seems like dreaming all night long really isn't. It's your interpretation of that when you awaken. So as we said to our friend just a little bit ago, everything is about your perspective or about your perception. And so if you are wanting to know what your non-physical counterpart feels like, then you've got to get closer to the frequency of that, more chronically closer to the frequency of that. Now, let's go back to the question, why am I not dreaming? Why am I not remembering the dreams that I'm having? Well, for the most part, we want to say it's because it's not your expectation. Somewhere early on, you got off on that. You started worrying about it. You've been beating that drum, I don't dream. You could change that around as soon as tonight. As you put yourself in your bed tonight, you acknowledge tomorrow morning could be the first dreams that I remember in a while. It could be the first dreams that I remember in a while. It would be nice if I were to remember some of my dreams. It would be nice. It would be nice to remember some of my dreams. It would be nice to get a sort of sense of what I'm doing vibrationally. And so just say that softly, not with any urgency. And every night when you put yourself to bed, wouldn't it be nice if, not it's urgent or what's wrong with me that I don't, or what's going on, or is my frequency off? None of that. None of that. Just wouldn't it be nice if I were able to get some insight from my dream? Now, just setting that in motion, it is our promise to you, just setting that in motion in that soft way that we've just laid it out here is enough for you to be consciously aware when you awaken. There will be a vibration within you where you'll feel a little piece of something. You could even say, I want to be aware of how I felt while I dreamed. I don't need the details. I just want to be aware of how I felt while I was dreaming. I want to feel the refreshment of my dream state. Just these gentle, general words like that. And here's the next most important part. So the first part is setting it up in advance. Someday, not too far from now, I'm going to awaken and I'm going to be aware of my dreams. And if you say tomorrow morning and that makes you feel tense, then soften it still. Someday, not so far away. Then when you awaken in the morning, just lie there for a moment. Lie there in appreciation. Lie there in appreciation of the bed that you're sleeping in and say to yourself, do I remember? What do I remember? Do I remember how it felt? What do I remember? Because if you will ask yourself that question very first thing, if you're awakening to an alarm clock, sometimes the alarm clock is sort of jolting you into something else. If you really didn't want to get up, then you're already off on the wrong vibrational foot. If you feel like you didn't get enough sleep, then you're already on the wrong vibrational foot. If you feel that you're probably not going to remember, but you hope you can, then you're off on the wrong vibrational foot. In other words, you just have to make this a playful thing, not something that is urgent. So first, set forth the expectation before you sleep, and when you awaken, ask yourself if you remember. And it is our absolute promise to you that within a few days, you're going to recall your dreams. Because you are having those experiences every night. You've just convinced yourself you can't. It's like anyone who says, I can't do something. And the people who are usually saying, I can't do something, are the people who most want to do it. So it's that trying too hard thing. Because remember, every subject is two subjects. On one end of it is what is wanted, and on the other end of it is the absence of what is wanted. So why do you want to recall your dreams?
I am just curious if I'm missing out on something.
There you go. You missed the whole point of everything we just told you. It's all right, but that's what we were wanting to demonstrate back to you. In other words, I think I'm missing out on something. I think I'm doing something wrong. Whether it's a dream that you're wanting to accomplish, or finding a lover, or a pile of money somewhere, or writing a book, it doesn't matter what your desire is. If you're coming at it from this position that I'm missing out on something, then that vibration is the obstacle that is in the way. That's what's in the way of the path of least resistance. So what did you hear from us? In other words, intellectually, what did you hear from us? Mentally, what did you hear from us as the process?
To gently be open to the possibility of recalling how I felt in my dreams.
Yeah. So when we say to you, why would you want to do that? Why would you want to do that?
Just for more fun.
Exactly. For the fun of it. For the fun of it. For the fun of it. For the clarity of it, but for the fun of it. Are you defective? No. Is it something that you can do if you want to? Of course. It's an interesting thing because you set this up in a way that a lot of people present their questions to us. Here's this thing that I've wanted for a while that I have not accomplished. And we say, there could not be a worse premise. I really want this thing I have not been able to accomplish. And then you got more specific. For 50 years, I haven't been able to accomplish it. In other words, do you see the expectation that you're setting up?
Yeah.
So can you believe that something could be... This is a question for all of you relative to everything. Do you believe that there could be something going on in what you call reality or what isness? Maybe political conditions, maybe geographical conditions, maybe ecological conditions. Do you believe that there could be something that is happening that has world attention, something that is in your environment today? Do you believe that there is something like that that could be happening that could be different tomorrow?
Mm-hmm.
Is it easier for you to believe that it could be different tomorrow, or is it easier for you to believe that it could be different eventually?
Eventually.
Is it easier for you to believe that it could happen eventually where everyone would witness it, or eventually where those who are ready would witness it?
Those who are ready.
Is it necessary for everyone to agree in this experience that will be different, or just for those who are personally involved to agree?
Those who are involved.
But can you feel that it is agreement that is necessary? You have to line up with what you want. You cannot be in disagreement with what you want. And the thing that is so interesting as you look around the world is that there are things that are happening that you feel disagreement with what you want. But pay attention to where your dialogue is. Because as you speak your disagreement, what are you doing? As you speak your disagreement, I don't like that, it shouldn't be that way. As you speak your disagreement of what you want, even if it's true, Esther will say, well, Abraham, it's true. And we say, there are plenty of things that are true that you want to keep active in your vibration. And there are plenty of things that you keep active in your vibration that disagree with your desire. So here's the question of the day. How are you going to make active in your desire what you desire, and how are you going to deactivate your disagreement?
Go general.
Stop being so disagreeable. Stop measuring the what isness. That's really what we're wanting you to realize, is that what is doesn't mean diddly squat. What is only how it is because of the attention that's been given to it. It is our promise to you. In the moment that you withdraw your attention from it and give your attention somewhere else and practice it long enough that it becomes your point of attraction, then your path of least resistance will reveal to you the vibrational shift that you have made. And that's what it's always about, no matter what the subject. It's always about accomplishing a vibrational shift. And a vibrational shift is always about looking somewhere else, looking looking somewhere other than where you have been looking. And you have the power to do that easily. This has been a good conversation.
Thank you.